Hey guys, my name is Rob Noire and welcome to another one of these strange can I fix it DIY type videos. Today I'm covering a subject that I've already covered but in a new way, and that would be N64 controllers, specifically broken ones. So the last can I fix it video that I did, I had a couple of third-party N64 controllers that were just not really working. And so I kind of DIY fixed them. I got one to work perfectly. One, I kind of just shifted the problem onto another axis of the joystick. But regardless, I got a working controller out of it. And that got me thinking, why not do another one of these videos for controllers next time I get a chance? And recently, it came into my possession all of the old N64 controllers that I had when I was a child. Literally the same ones. The N64 I have in my game room, this was one of the controllers that came with it. And so this was the other one. It was the purple and gray. And so these controllers are old. They're from when I was a kid. They were from at least 15 years ago, I would say, was when we bought it. Probably at least 2002 maybe. And so they all have various issues. The main problem is the one you would think, which is the joystick is just shit. So that's one of the big problems with these. Another one of the big problems is some of the buttons are really weak. Now I have these third-party controllers which are actually incredibly similar in size for all the buttons and everything else to the official ones. So what I'm thinking is that I might be able to swap out the buttons and the joysticks on these to the other controllers and maybe get one or two working pretty much slightly modified but official Nintendo controllers out of it. So I'm curious on if I can make this work. Again, I've never tried doing any controller mod this complex before, so I'm curious how it goes. So yeah guys, let's jump right into it. Okay, so this is nothing new taking apart an N64 controller. I've done it before, but obviously I have to do it. For this one, we're going to open it up, I'm going to have a look at what we're dealing with, and I'll see if this is even possible. Okay, that should be the last one. Now again, remember folks, if possible, always try and open your controllers by taking off the bottom and letting the weight hang down onto the buttons. Not saying that it's gonna work for this one, especially since I gotta swap out the buttons, but Jesus, that's gunked up to hell. I didn't miss a screw, did I? No, I didn't. So it just doesn't want to. Oh, are there clips in it? Are there clips in a first-party controller that's like stopping me from doing this? Actually, it turns out there are two little screws in the front that I was pretty sure that yes, I did work on official N64 controllers when I was a kid, like trying to get ours to work. Didn't remember these. So that's a good thing to note, is don't just try and rip apart your controller. There's actually two little screws right in here, if you can see. Two little screws right in there that are really incredibly well hidden and kind of being a pain in the ass to unscrew. So there's the controller. It's pretty much what I expected. I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot weird here. The fact that these are super loose, I feel like that should be held in place better for when you push. That seems like a weird design choice. I don't remember these from when I was a kid. But all right, let's open up the joystick at least and get on that. Okay, so here is the joystick loose as a whole. I could open it up, but for now, let's just slide that out there. Okay, so that's the shitty joystick. You can see already that it just bounces right around. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm curious what it's gonna look like when I open it all the way up. This is essentially scrap. Like there's no real way to salvage a totally broken joystick on an N64 controller. I don't think there's really a way on any. They just kind of Sometimes things break, you know what I mean? Oh my god, that's disgusting. I don't know if you can see that, but that would be the accumulated dirt of a lot of years, and it's literally falling onto my table. Jesus. So, essentially, it's not actually the joystick itself, it's more or less the actual mechanism inside, I believe. That's actually what's screwed up. So I have a few different options for this. But okay, so this is all my junk from my original controller. So now I'm going to set this aside and grab a third-party one, and that's where we're gonna go from here to Frankenstein a controller. Okay, so here's the third-party one. I still have all my first-party stuff that needs to be changed on the side here. I'm also, like I said, I gotta change out a few of the buttons, and I also wanna look into maybe reinforcing those bumpers, because this feels tight. That felt loose as shit. Like maybe I can wedge something in there. But as always, first things first, we gotta open up this disgusting mess. So something that seems promising for the idea of just swapping out the broken parts between the two to make one good controller is the fact that this controller seems to be built almost exactly the same as my official N64 controllers. So, like, it has the same screw placements, the same everything. The only difference was that it had like one extra screw on like the little these here, because these actually wiggle in turn. I don't know, I guess it was to give a better fit on your hand. I don't know why they did that. Okay, let's see, will it... Oh, it actually opened really easily. And, okay, shit's already falling out. That's... Oh, that was the bumper, I guess. You see, these bumpers just like push tight against the thing. That's... Oh, and look, this is connected the same way. Or almost the same way. That's a really good sign. Alright. Okay, so here's the joystick, which is better than the one on the other. It's not a perfect joystick, but it is better. Actually, if I opened it up, could I maybe make it really good? I'm worried, because if I open it up, I might also destroy it. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna open it up and see if I can actually fix this joystick so that it's like fully 100% responsive. Because if I do fuck it up, I do have the other blue controller, which works much better than this one. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get my alcohol out, and I'm just gonna clean that disgustingness from the years out of this fucking thing. Okay, so I've cleaned it all up. I don't really know how I would fix the tension problem. Like, there's nothing obvious in here as to how it would work. It's when it goes up, right? Which would be, yeah, it would be up this direction. So I don't know. I don't really know exactly where the root of that issue lies, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna reassemble it, and hopefully it still works. Okay, so I pretty much just cleaned it up. I'm gonna actually clean up even inside here a little, but yeah, I don't think I did any significant improvement to the internals there, but this will fit the controller over there, which was the big thing. So awesome. This crap don't need really anymore, and now I can look about fixing all of the things. So this is the controller. Will you let me? Okay. Then here's all the worn out buttons and button inputs. So how similar are they? Pretty close. So let's see about just swapping out these rubbers. Actually, you know what? Let's swap out everything. Fuck it. Other than the, like the D-pad. And yeah, you can see this is pretty fucking beat up. Okay, so the button fits. I don't know how successful this is gonna be. I didn't realize that Nintendo put all these little tabs to hold their things in, but the button does fit, so that's a good sign, right? So everything actually seems to have fit and transferred over pretty nicely. The one thing I'll say you can't tell right now, and I can't flip it over, is that the buttons are kind of all facing the wrong directions. I didn't really have a choice. They use the same grooves in the third-party controller as they do in the official, but they line them up differently. So this controller is just gonna look weird. It's just gonna look weird. And actually, on second inspection, I just realized the plug that they use for their joystick is actually slightly different in size than the plug for the official one. So I'm gonna have to do some weird shit here, I guess. Okay, well actually before I do anything crazy here, I think I'm gonna open up the other controller to see what their joystick is like, because if it's just interchangeable with this one, awesome. If it's not, okay, I'll work from there. I just don't want to do a bunch of work and then it turns out, hey, I didn't actually need to, you know what I mean? Actually, as I'm saying that, looking right through it, I can already see it's the exact same as the other one, so alright. Magic weird time, I guess. Magic weird time with Rob Noire, coming soon. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. I can't, unfortunately, just swap these over, because they actually built the stuff on the back side to slide exactly into where these are. On this one, they covered all that up with plastic, making that kind of impossible. But I might be able to take these parts and put them into here. So all that messing around basically taught me one thing, which is that I can't make the pieces fit and work together. It sucks, but that's just kind of the way it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the joystick out of the other one, and then I'm either gonna have to solder or find some kind of adapter for the ribbon cables. Because unfortunately I can't make it work the way it is. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I only needed one controller anyways. So if I can get one out of this, I'll be more than happy. Okay, so here's the inside of the other one. It looks pretty similar, but you see there's this mess of wires as a result of the turbo controls, which I don't know what was wrong with them or why they never really worked. I just know that they didn't. So I'm just gonna steal the joystick out of this thing for now. If I can keep the original screws with it, actually, that's even better. And there we go, there's the good joystick. This was the one that was better anyways. So this I'm gonna set aside inside of here. Actually, well, yeah, why don't I screw it back in? Why don't I just make sure everything fits before I commit myself to fucking soldering shit, you know what I mean? So everything seems to be in there pretty good. I can't put in 2 screws because unfortunately the assholes line the screws up slightly differently. But just to make sure, I'm gonna put the bottom on and use that as a guide. So yeah, everything actually fits well, and oh my god, these buttons feel amazing, and that stick feels amazing. Start button feels a little bit weird, actually. But other than that, that could just be because I don't have it pushed down, lined up perfectly. Actually, where does the start button rest on? Right now it feels fine. When it's here, shit, okay, so I gotta put the original start button back, that's not a big deal. So this would be good. I just need to come up with some solution to the ribbon cable thing, which I think might be soldering or some kind of adapter. I haven't really looked into it. This was a relative success, so one last thing I want to do is I just want to have a look. Oh geez. Just wanted to have a look at what's going on here. This is pretty standard. This is pretty whatever. And so this was basically just the turbo thing. It's just this chip here. That's pretty much it. And then I just had all these weird buttons that I guess maybe were accidentally always depressed or something, and that's why they always activated. I don't know. But all right, guys. So I guess that's all I can do today. We'll reconvene when I have the tools or the means to solve this ribbon cable thing. Hey guys, so quick update on that video I was just doing. It's now a week or 2 since I filmed that, and I got the other joystick in for the other controller. I had arranged to get the pieces on this desoldered and then changed over for the correct connection, all that stuff. but looking at it, I realized that I can actually swap them out myself. This might sound a bit weird, counterintuitive to what I was saying before in the video before. I don't know, I haven't even edited that. I always wait till I have everything to edit. But I just discovered like a little trick that I can do that I think will work to get the old joystick working. So let's have a look. Okay, so what I was saying about before about how I couldn't swap these over because the connections don't fit, right? The thing is, when I flipped it over, I realized I could actually knock out the wires from this one and just put the wires from my other one into this connector plug. Now, the ones from the black connector plug are a little bit longer, and that's a little bit of an issue, but I'll show you what we're dealing with. So the piece is supposed to fit all the way inside. Obviously, this one's got about twice that length, but checking, it still seems to make a connection. I've tried with these two dummy pieces, so I'm hopeful that if I swap these out correctly, it will actually work. Now I'm gonna have to tether them in there and do a bunch of little fine work, but I think we might have a solution here. So something that's gonna be absolutely critical to this is getting the orders of the wires correct, the same as they were before. Now I'm gonna be using this shitty broken one as a guide to help me, as well as looking at this here, because I can see where these are lined up, I can see where these are lined up, and these should be the same, you know what I mean? So right now I have the last wire disengaged, and it's actually really simple. It's just like 1 2 3 4 5, and again the key thing here is I don't want to damage the piece because I gotta reuse it. Okay, so they're all in there, so I just gotta reassemble this. Oh god, didn't I not clean the stick? That is nasty. Oh sure, I cleaned this fucking thing. Maybe not. That is some nasty shit, yo. So I gotta reinstall this, install it into there, and then reassemble the entire controller. Reassembling the controller is gonna be hard because it has been a few weeks since I did this and I don't remember exactly what I did. This could get interesting. The only thing I'm worried about is it looks like some of those metal pieces got crossed. Gotta make sure that those stay all out of each other's way. So that makes me hopeful. I have no idea if it will work in the end. Again, this was just a funny experiment, so now I gotta reassemble the entire thing. Fuck. Alright guys, so there it is. These feel great. This feels the same. The stick feels awesome. Bumpers feel fine. The only thing I've noticed is that the Z button doesn't really have much give to it. I think that's because the joystick I installed was slightly bigger and in a slightly different location. You might have noticed, so this might be an ultimate fail. It might work. I'm curious on if this will at least work, but there, that's one controller down. Now, as I mentioned, I did purchase a GameCube style joystick replacement for the other controller. So I'm just gonna pop this in, try it out, and we'll go over to the N64. We'll see if either of these work. This, I'm really curious about how this is gonna respond. And my other controller here, see, I did a lot of research before the last time I filmed, and I haven't done so much this time. This controller, this button's useless, this button's okay. Jesus, a lot of these buttons could use fixing. All right, so I'm gonna tear it open. I'm gonna see what I can do. Let's see what lies within this one. More or less the same thing from the looks of it. So that could be why these aren't functioning very well. They seem to be not really securely in there. Wow, okay. So a bunch of the things holding this controller together just broke when I undid it. That's not a good sign. Hopefully I can still put enough of them back in that this thing will still hold together, you know what I mean? Okay, so I had to swap out some buttons. So the shoulder buttons, yes. A button for sure. All right. Okay, so that seems like that's probably what the problem is. Okay, so I did all the top side repairs that I could. Now I guess it's time to actually install the joystick. Okay, so assuming this fits. Oof, that does not really want to. Jesus. Okay, I guess that's in, like that. really kind of... Yeah, that's as far in as it'll go, so I guess that's in. Assuming that fits, I'm pretty much done here. I just gotta reassemble a few things, and we should be good. Why is this fighting me right now? There we go. I just gotta assemble a few things, and we should be good to go. This controller is not gonna stay in one piece unless these pieces are kind of put back in place where they're supposed to be, you know what I mean? Alright guys, so that's both controllers seemingly fixed. Buttons on this one feel good. The D-pad feels a little bit squishy. I think that's because the piece that was supposed to hold the rubber in place is gone. So it still works, but it feels a little bit loose. These buttons feel pretty good. Yeah, alright guys, so I guess all that's left is to plug these in and see what we get out of it. I don't know and I don't know, but we're gonna find out, I guess. Alright guys, so here I am in the game room. I have everything set up. First, I'm gonna try it out using a test controller that I know works, and I have an N64 controller extension right here to make things easier for myself. So let's boot it on. We're gonna be trying Diddy Kong Racing. I'll be, sure, I'll be Diddy. And let's... You know what, let's just go to a track. And then I can compare using the different controllers. Hopefully it will let me swap on the fly. Swap on the fly? I don't know for sure if it will. Okay. Z is to shoot something or to sound your horn. B is... C buttons don't actually do... C buttons zoom in. Alright. Jesus, Diddy. Alright, let's try another controller here. How about this one? The one that I'm not worried is going to catch on fire. That's a good call, I think. Alright. Purple controller. I don't know what the bumpers do, so I don't know if the bumpers are working. Oh, the joystick feels nice. The Z button works. The D-pad doesn't seem to have any function. This controller, I would say, is a win. The GameCube joystick seems to be pretty, I don't know if it's as precise as an N64 joystick, but all my N64s are kind of shitty, like the joysticks on all the older controllers. So this would be better than any of those. I can't really complain. So this one works. Now the real, I don't think it's gonna work, but we're gonna try, would be the, Jesus Christ, man, all these wires. This would be the one that I get the feeling is not going to have such a good reaction, but we're gonna figure it out together, guys. I don't smell smoke yet. Okay, the joystick does not work at all. Everything except the joystick works. Well, shit, guys. And I hooked it up correctly, too. It might be that the pins just didn't penetrate far enough, or it might be the joystick's just something about it's not compatible. Oh, well. So let's try the D-pad on the other one in the Kirby game. Okay, so it works fine, but the D-pad is a little, it's not super responsive, like you gotta kind of jam on it for the left and bottom positions. That's because the thing that holds the D-pad in kind of broke, you know, like that little purple thing, and I didn't think to put it in at that point. If I did, maybe I will. Maybe I'll glue that back in like I did the others, and then we'll consider this a win, but for all intents and purposes, guys, I got 1 out of 2. The one where I wanted to swap the control stick, it just didn't work in the end. I'll leave it. Maybe I will try the solder thing, and I'll come back to it in a separate video and be like, hey, it works. But for all intents and purposes, this video's done. I got 1 out of 2. I swapped the buttons, the contacts, and I swapped the fucking joystick, And hey, it works. And gotta say, I like the feel of the GameCube joystick more than I like the feel of the N64. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna snap the fucking thing. Maybe that's just me. I did hear about some guy on Kickstarter making a normal controller for the N64. I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you maybe learned something. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, my name is Rob Noire, and welcome back to another one of these kind of different do-it-yourself videos. These videos, it's a lot different than anything else I do on the channel, but it's Saturday video. I had a few things that I could have done, like I could have tried to fix more controllers. I had like the PlayStation ones lined up, some stuff with the N64 ones.